Hello, everyone. It's the coach. Welcome to EA Sports coverage of the 2019 NFL Pro Bowl from right here in Orlando, Florida. Coming up, the AFC looking to make it 3 in a row as they square off against their rivals from the NFC. I'll be back at halftime, but first, let's get you downtown to Camping World Stadium. Standing by our broadcast team, Brandon Godden and Charles Davis.
All right, much appreciated, Coach, as we welcome all of you to our exclusive coverage of the National Football League on EA Sports. Straight ahead, bragging rights on the line in the 46th meeting of the AFC and the NFC in the 2019 NFL Pro Bowl game. As always, alongside Charles Davis, I'm Brandon Godden. And Charles, Rams and Patriots still a week away. We'll touch on that later. But as Coach said, the AFC coming in here on a 2-game win streak.
And I love the fact that it's back to AFC versus NFC. We had that little time frame with captain's picks, and there was no side. I didn't like that. So let's see if the NFC can get into it. Drew Brees will be their starting quarterback. Probably a little perturbed about how his season ended. And Patrick Mahomes from Kansas City, what a second season for that youngster.
Aldrick Rosas of the Giants putting total leather, and we are underway in the 2019 Pro Bowl. And they will not get a chance to return this one as it's through the end zone for a touchback. The AFC heading out on offense, and leading him is number 15 from the Kansas City Chiefs, Patrick Mahomes, in his first ever Pro Bowl.
Get your tux, get your best suit. Let's head to the red carpet. NFL Honors is coming up, and he will be the heavy favorite to be the NFL MVP. And let's face it, we'll see him here at the Pro Bowl many times to come in future years.
Yellow.
A first-time Pro Bowler, here's James Conner of the Steelers. And that play going absolutely nowhere as he's belted before he could get out of the backfield. We mentioned the history of this game, the Pro Bowl. Of course, for many folks our age, the Pro Bowl always meant a trip to Hawaii. You know, they held it there from 80 till 09, and again for a handful of years in this decade before the last 3 being here in Orlando.
And there's something to be said, no doubt about it, for getting to go to Hawaii. Imagine being named a Pro Bowler, then going home and telling your family, we're headed to Hawaii for a vacation. But think about going to Orlando, especially if you've got kids. All the theme parks, all the great things to do, plus not nearly as long a flight no matter where you come from in the United States. I think it's a big deal and a good thing to have it here in Orlando.
And he's going to be taken down with a marker on the field. So let's see about the call. So a decent gain, but all for naught on the penalty.
It's too bad, isn't it? They were feeling pretty good about it. The only people celebrating, the guys who just gave up that play.
Now Mahomes throwing on second down. And he finds his Chiefs teammate, Travis Kelce. Give him 14 on that one and a first down. For Patrick Mahomes, what a season he had. First as a full-time starter, and he goes over 5,000 yards, 50 touchdowns, and rewarded with his first Pro Bowl.
And think about if you're in Kansas City, the organization.
And he cannot get rid of it. The NFC getting in there for the sack. Cameron Jordan wreaking havoc with a sack.
Sometimes I watch games and wonder why they use play fakes on certain passing situations, because it's not going to fool anyone. I don't know if that was the case here, but the end result was the same. No one fooled. The quarterback was hit.
Work to be done here on 2nd and 16 after the sack. A second-time Pro Bowler here. This is the Chargers' Melvin Gordon. And forget about finding a lane. He barely had time to look up before he was planted in the backfield.
Luke Kuechly combines speed, intelligence, toughness, puts it all together. It makes plays like one we just saw there. He may not be a big-time blitzer, but boy, he knows how to pursue straight ahead and make plays in the run game.
Now a third down throw, but it misses the target, incomplete. So the defense able to get off the field here on third down.
And it's one of the goals of the game. They've got to be effective on passing downs. It's one of the few things defenses chart. How did we do on third down? That's a nice start for them in this one.
On fourth down, here's Brett Kern to punt the football away. Tariq Cohen of the Bears back deep for the NFC. Great coverage there, holds him to a 2-yard return following a 50-yard punt. And the NFC will take over 1st and 10. Breeze in the NFC come up now with a 1st and 10 at their own 21. Now the New York Giants star playing in the Pro Bowl as a rookie, Saquon Barkley. And he's got it past the 30 before he's hit and dropped. Nice way to start the drive, a gain of 12 and a 1st down.
And that's the big fella's MO right there. Running through tackles, keeping the sticks moving forward. This defense, if you don't bring 11 guys to the ball to try and get him on the ground, he's going to keep making runs like that. I feel the press box shaking every time he touches the rock.
Oh, he's able to outmuscle him here as he pulls it in. 17 yards on the pickup there. The drive will continue. For Drew Brees, this his 12th Pro Bowl nomination. Though he hasn't played all 12 years, but still, what a career and what a season. And to do it at this age, unbelievable.
Not too bad for a guy who turned 40 the week leading up to the NFC Championship game. He keeps himself in such superb physical condition and still loves everything that goes along with football. He may play till he's 60.
When you think about the history of this Pro Bowl game, there was an all-star game going all the way back to 1939, but it officially became called the Pro Bowl in, I think, 1951.
You're exactly right. And that game was played out in L.A. in the same stadium where the L.A. Rams currently play. And back then, they split it into conferences, the American Conference versus the National Conference. The American Conference won 28-27. MVP of the game, quarterback Otto Graham, nickname Automatic.
It's caught. Jones. And the ball is out. Jones got hit and lost it. And I think the AFC came up with that. They did. AFC football.
We have seen this before, and we know coaches preach about this and work on it all the time. Catch the ball. You know there's going to be some traffic somewhere. They've got to put it away and secure it as they try and get downfield.
The AFC offense making their way back out. Well, we can continue to talk Pro Bowl as we go along, but let's talk a little Super Bowl. Super Bowl 53, 1 week from today over in Atlanta. New England taking on the Rams. Time for your Super Bowl prediction, CD. What do you think?
Well, everyone thinks defense when they think the New England Patriots, but in the time that they've had their head coach and their quarterback, Tom Brady, guess what? They're the #1 offensive team in the NFL. And you know the Rams are high flyers as well. So that tells me that this Super Bowl, low scoring. It's going to be a total anomaly. I'm thinking somewhere in the neighborhood of 13-10 final score, going totally opposite what it should be.
Wow, I'm going to completely disagree. I see high scoring, maybe 51-44, something like that. The two punters, Johnny Hecker and Ryan Allen, don't even show up to this one.
Johnny Hecker might throw a touchdown pass because you know the Rams like to fake it when he's on the field.
On second down, Connor looking for space. A sizable gain there, 9 yards as they get it back to a 3rd and 5.
But you got to give kudos to your offensive line and the guy carrying the ball because they were in a 2nd and long situation. It seemed pretty dire, but they brought it back to 3rd and manageable with that run.
From the gun on 3rd down, Mahomes. And that will be incomplete. Well, they weren't scared to let it fly, but it falls to the ground and brings up 4th down.
Anytime a defense can sit back in a zone like that, it tends to create a lot of congestion in the middle of the field. Makes it very hard to slot one in.
Looked like I-4 at rush hour in your hometown of Orlando, Florida. An absolute mess. Here's Brett Kern now as he'll punt it away for the 2nd time.
Let's go! Let's go! Let's go!
The offense for the NFC back out there. And they got across the 50 last time but fumbled and turned it over, so they'll be looking to have a short-term memory here, Mr. Davis.
Not only a short-term memory, but a whole lot better ball security. Because if they take care of the ball, continue to move it, their chances of scoring some points, they got to feel pretty good about. They thought they had things moving in the right direction last time. Fumbles, they don't just affect you on offense, they affect your overall team because now your defense has to make that stand up.
Now, meanwhile, a pass that should have been intercepted, but it winds up falling incomplete. Well, we've talked about this game being hosted here in Orlando, and you and I are quite familiar with this place, especially you. You live, what, 20, 25 minutes from here?
Yeah, not bad at all, right? An easy trip to come right to the studios here in Orlando. You, of course, have to give a little bit more effort, a quick flight, then you're here, but you've learned this city quite well. And how about it? The Madden studios right here in Orlando, that's where coaching the guys hang out as well.
And a big loss here as he's taken down. The sack there by J.J. Watt.
I remember when I was a kid and all I wanted was a nickel so I could get that soda down at the fountain. And guess what? The nickel came into play well. 5 defensive backs, they covered well, allowed for the sack.
Sodas were a nickel when you were a kid?
No, I just needed the extra nickel so I could pay the proper price.
Okay, how much were they? A dime? What were they?
15 cents.
Back out is the AFC offense. They've shown very little offensively to this point. Well, neither team has, really. And they come up here now, first down. Mahomes in the AFC now with a 1st and 10 at their own 44. The drive will start with Connor. And this will be good for a pickup of 9 to the 46.
First play of the drive, let's give credit all around. Excellent blocking, but the guy carrying the ball, he was the finisher. A really nice run.
On second down, it's Connor, and he'll be taken down at the 44-yard line. Second quarter action with 1:59 remaining. A reminder coming up at halftime, we'll check in with our Jonathan Coachman. He'll have highlights and analysis of the first half, and our highlights will likely be on the defensive side of the football here. Scoreless game. Now left side on the swing pass. 20! It'll go as an impressive 31-yard gain. Not really any offense for them to speak of here in this first half. Maybe that's what they needed, that big play.
Yeah, it seems that maybe everything changes right there. They've been a little slow out of the gate. We've seen that. But that one big play, that could spark a big burst right here.
This is caught. And he will score. Touchdown AFC. From 13 yards out. And the AFC is in for 6. Well, we saw that tandem hook up quite a few times during the regular season, didn't we?
We certainly did, and it continues now in the Pro Bowl. You have to know that even if they didn't consciously plan it, you do try and find guys you're familiar with in a game like this.
Extra point up and through by Myers. And that makes the score 7-0. So that drive, 4 plays. And it ends with an AFC touchdown. And no return on this one as the fair catch is signaled for and taken. Here's the NFC offense set to take over again. And the results for them have not been strong to this point. 2 drives have ended in a turnover and then a punt.
So would it be too snarky for me to say that they've shown improvement? Because you had two drives with turnovers. Now they punted it away, so at least they didn't turn it over. That's good, right?
You're going to get some angry users reaching out to you on social media.
Well, I don't mean to be. I was actually looking for the positives.
Well, the pressure gets home, and the AFC comes up with a sack. Now the AFC going to use the first of their timeouts as they'll talk it over here before what will be an important 3rd down.
Ready? 5-9. So don't say nothing.
Working from the gun, it's Breeze. And Jones has it over the middle. And up to the 35 before they're able to knock him down. They needed 18 yards, and that's exactly what they got. And by the nose of the football, it's a first. To throw is Breeze. And he will find his Saints teammate Michael Thomas complete. And they'll get him down after a pickup of 8, 2nd and 2. Breeze, one of the best ever in these situations as he's trying to get his guys set. Looking to throw again on 2nd down. Breeze, and he can't get rid of it. He's taken down. Now the NFC going to call the first of their 3 timeouts as the stoppage will come with 23 seconds to go till halftime. The numbers for the NFC on 3rd down, just 1 for 3 thus far. This is 3rd down and 12. Breeze now to throw. And he connects with Ertz. Now the NFC going to take a timeout, their 2nd, as they'll stop it with 17 seconds to go in this first half of action. Breeze going to come up here, 1st and 10, and he's 4 for 4 now, throwing the ball to start the drive. From the gun, it's Breeze. Lets it fly for Thielen. And that'll be incomplete with 11 seconds remaining now. So after the incompletion on 1st, now 2nd and 10. Throwing now is Breeze. And the pressure gets to Breeze as he's taken down.
That's how we do it, baby.
So we're at halftime of the 2019 Pro Bowl with the AFC out on top. As we'll send you across town to our studios here in Orlando and check in with the coach at our EA Sports Halftime Report.
Okay, Brandon, thanks very much. Boy, this AFC team has figured something out. They've got the lead again, looking to make it 3 in a row since the game moved to Orlando in 2017. So the question, what can the NFC do to come back? We'll ask that of our guys as we send you back to Camping World Stadium.
Okay, Coach, appreciate it. A 1-touchdown game here as we get set to resume play in the 2nd half. Both teams appear ready for the fight ahead, and we resume action here in quarter number 3. That'll be taken in the end zone. And he'll take it back to about the 19-yard line. Here now, a look at Drew Brees in our player's spotlight. And he has not really been able to have a lot of comfort back there in the pocket. Pressure's been coming at him a lot, hasn't it?
And they've got to figure out how to tamp down that pressure. How do they decrease it? Is it getting rid of the football quicker? You know, shorter drops? Maybe they do something different with their pass blocking and their protection schemes. Maybe you meet them on the line of scrimmage instead of retreating to try and protect your quarterback. They've got to figure something out, though, because you cannot let your guy get hit that much, not if you intend to win.
I know they'd like to erase that video and those 4 sacks that they've seen so far. Charles, this the 2019 Pro Bowl. The AFC's won both games that have been played here in Orlando since they moved it here. Both have been competitive, 20-13 2 seasons ago, and then last year in 2018 it was 24-23 the final.
Yeah, and 2 years ago, Travis Kelce, Lorenzo Alexander were the game MVPs, offense and defense respectively. And then last year, Delaney Walker of the Titans, their tight end, he won it on offense, and Von Miller of the Broncos won it on defense.
They'll set up the screen to Barkley. The screen gets 7, but it's not enough, and it'll be 4th down. Instead of throwing it downfield, Charles, they just tried to dump it underneath there. You like the call?
I do. I think it's a high percentage play because you get the completion, and what you're counting on is your back to use his legs and his elusiveness to make people miss and pick up the 1st down. In this case, it didn't happen.
And how about this one now? In their own territory, a gutsy call. They're going to go for this on 4th and a yard. And it'll be touchdown here, but not before he does pick up the 1st. A curious decision to go for it, but it pays off with a 1st down.
The more and more that we broadcast games, the more I realize how much this game is about the eyes. And in this case, they got fooled because the defense was checking out the eyes of the back, thinking he was getting the ball. Should have been looking at the QB, shouldn't they?
A little bit of a surprise indeed, and he was able to get forward for that 1 yard. Credit the tackle to the Texans' middle linebacker, Benardrick McKinney. You look back a few years ago, Charles, when the Pro Bowl did that 3-year experimentation. I know you're a traditionalist. You like AFC versus NFC.
Yes, I do.
But for the games 2014, 15, and 16, they tried something a little different. They held essentially a fantasy draft for players. Year 1, it was Jerry Rice, Deion Sanders as captains. Year 2, Michael Irvin and Chris Carter. And then in year 3, Michael Irvin again matching up against Jerry Rice.
And one common denominator, every single one of those guys with a gold jacket, all of them in the Pro Football Hall of Fame. So they didn't ask you and I to be the captains and make the picks. And by the way, the playmaker, Michael Irvin, went 2-0. And you know I heard all about that.
The throw over the middle taken in. And he's corralled, but not before getting it inside the 35. Back-to-back nice gains. That one for 14 yards and another first. I don't know what they talked about at halftime. Whatever it was, it worked. They look like a different team here in the third quarter.
Yeah, I doubt that there are very many trash cans that got kicked up.
And down he goes. They sack him back right around the 41-yard line. J.J. Watt able to disrupt yet another pass play. That is his 3rd sack of the afternoon.
Brandon, I think you understand the type of afternoon this offensive line is having. It is a long one for them. Long for you to spend it with me. Long for them trying to block.
Under pressure again, and down he goes again. J.J. Watt, who else? He's in there for his 4th sack of the afternoon.
Okay, let's go back a little bit and see if my schooling comes to the front. What's that old saying? Those who forget the lessons of history are doomed to repeat them. That's the same guy who's gotten back-to-back sacks. I think a double team may be in order.
The end of the third quarter with the score AFC 7, NFC nothing.
And that is going to do it for this third quarter of action. You're watching the NFL on EA Sports. Possibly a turning point. Big play coming. This is 3rd and long.
Sammy!
From midfield, here's Breeze. Looking downfield for Jones. And he knocks the ball away, and it falls incomplete. It's been this way most of the afternoon, hasn't it? This secondary, it really put this receiving core on lockdown.
Listen, they've worked together like a basketball team that's playing excellent defense. Great communication, doesn't matter whether it's man or zone. And especially against deep balls, as we saw there, they're not giving up anything to them.
The AFC offensive unit getting set to take over. And one thing you'd like to see in a Pro Bowl, a competitive contest. We've got that just like the last 2 seasons, a one-score game as we play here in the 4th.
What I'd love to know, what's the discussion on the sidelines of both teams right now? Because, you know, it's an exhibition-type game, but as you said, as competitive as it is now, these guys are going to want to win. There may be some guys who sub some guys out, trying to get back on the field and trying to help their team win down the stretch.
After the incompletion, here's 2nd and 10 from the 20. On the counter, it's Connor. Breaks the tackle. He's got room to run. Weaving through traffic, and now he's free. And all the way in for the touchdown. James Conner, an 80-yard touchdown. And the AFC is able to widen their advantage. That's what we want right there, CD. It's a Pro Bowl. Give us some of these long touchdowns.
We want plays that cover a lot of ground. We want long-distance plays, whether long-distance runs, long-distance passes. It doesn't matter. In the Pro Bowl, big plays are what we're all looking for.
The kickoff unit is out on the field, and they will send this one away. This is taken just shy of the 10 here. And a good effort on the return there. Gets him across the 30 to the 33-yard line. The NFC offense heading back onto the field. And it's great to see the stars all out in one place, but in terms of football, what's really great to see is a very entertaining Pro Bowl as we are tied in the fourth quarter.
And how many of these guys thought going into this game, after a pretty easy week heading into it, that the pressure would ratchet up now and someone has to make a play, which means someone will have a play made against them and they'll have to live with that for the rest of the year.
Breeze again here on 2nd and 10. Over the middle, and it's incomplete. The Pro Bowl tight end Zach Ertz, the intended target, and it's 3rd down.
I'm not even sure I know who this guy is out there playing right now. This is very unlike him, one of the most accurate guys in the league. Totally off his game right now.
I don't know. I was going to ask you what you pin it on, but defensively, they've been pretty solid.
Well, sometimes, you know, those defenders, they get into the receivers pretty well. And if they chip away at their timing, it's going to affect what you're doing throwing the ball as well.
A very solid gain of 27. Well, he was so good throwing the football on 3rd down during the regular season. Why wouldn't it carry over here to the Pro Bowl?
Sometimes that's just who you are, right? If you're good at something during, as you said, during the regular season, so what if it's with a bunch of guys you're unfamiliar with? It's 3rd down. He finds a way to convert.
Throwing on 1st down, but this one winds up to be incomplete. He was looking for Julio Jones, his Pro Bowl receiver. And now it's 2nd down.
Had the right idea there, trying to throw it to the sideline, but he led him just a little bit too much, trying to get it out to his receiver. Ends up falling.
Oh, a ball batted in the air, and now it's intercepted. Picked off by the linebacker, C.J. Mosley. The 20. And he is going to score. It's a pick 6 and an AFC touchdown. That's the story of the game. They've been suffocating all game long on defense. They were suffocating there again in a big way.
And they've done it not just by out-athleting them, which is often the case, but by being able to adjust to anything they tried to throw at them and beating them to the punch each and every time. This was a defense that was well prepared.
Myers connects on the PAT, and that makes the score 21-0. So the defense creating some points, not only getting the interception, but then returning it to the end zone for the pick 6. This is taken just shy of the 10 here. And he'll take it past the 25 and up to the 28-yard line. The offense for the NFC back out there. And let's face it, this drive is not going to have any bearing on this game, but it's kind of important for one reason, isn't it?
It certainly is. You got to get points. And okay, all right, I'm being facetious here, but you get points, you feel a little bit better about yourself as you move on to the next one.
Now the first play of the drive there is incomplete. Davante Adams, the intended receiver. That'll bring up 2nd down. Another incompletion. You know, it's a wonder he's still moving around back there the number of times he's been sacked.
Yeah, he's staying out there, isn't he? And you don't think about it much in a game like this, but he's showing incredible leadership. Still competing, still fighting, not taking himself out of a ball game that appears lost.
Looking deep for Julio. And that is going to be pulled in one-handed. Wow. That one good for 37 yards. Defensively, I know they have the comfortable lead here in the 4th, but they do not want to give up big plays like that.
They want to finish strong. So oftentimes in this situation, you tighten up underneath in your coverage, and you bring your safeties back. They can pick up anything that leaks through. But in the meantime, upfield, you're making plays on the football.
Breeze going to throw. He gets this to Davante Adams. He's tackled a yard short of the marker. Good gain of 9 on 1st down. Just 2 minutes remaining here in the 4th quarter of what has been a one-sided affair. So it's the NFC with the football as we welcome you back. They're looking at 2nd down now as they search for a consolation score. To throw again on 2nd down. Breeze, pressure, and the AFC gets to him for the sack. J.J. Watt, my goodness, make that now 5 sacks for him in this ball game. Really turning in an incredible performance.
I remember throughout my career hearing defensive coaches always say, guys, you got to earn the right to rush the passer. Well, they put themselves in a great spot with this big lead, and they know they've got to throw the ball.
These pass rushers have to be salivating. It is pin your ears back time indeed. Now throwing on 3rd down there, but he cannot connect. Well, the trials and tribulations of being a quarterback in this league, it's tough. It's got to be wearing on him out there.
Well, he has been sacked a number of times. He had an interception, so I'm going to give him a skosh of credit for hanging in there and trying to make something happen, despite the amount of pressure he's been under this entire game.
Here's a throw over the middle. It's taken in by his tight end. No reason not to try it there, and they do indeed convert on fourth. Fourth down, trailing in the fourth quarter. They felt compelled to go for it, and they got it.
Well, I'd look down at my play sheet, and what I would find, plays have been successful throughout the game that have worked at the distance you need, and that's exactly what they got done.
Officials so cognizant of that call nowadays, but that would look pretty easy.
Yeah, you're right. They took out of their hands having to wonder whether it's a 5-yard or a 15-yard inadvertent or not. Now, it's a lot easier. You see it, you call it.
After the penalty, they go with Barkley. And running room hard to come by here. He gets it down to the 8. It's a gain of a yard, and it'll set up second and goal. Second down and goal. Breeze hammering for the goal line. He loses the football. And that's picked up by the AFC. And to the 12. That's where it stops. The return is halted at the 12-yard line.
Okay, this isn't one where you want to take the game tape and hold it up as an example, do you? I mean, you talk about frustrating all the way through. And that last error, I think that crystallizes it, doesn't it?
Absolutely. That's been representative of their entire game still being shut out.
Right here, right here. Hey, alert 3, alert 3.
And he's going to lose yardage here back to the 12-yard line. Now the NFC going to call the first of their 3 timeouts as they stop it here with just under 40 seconds to go in the game. After the loss to start out, here's 2nd and 11. Here's a handoff to Connor. And a nice gain there as he'll be taken down just shy of the 20. Now the NFC going to take a timeout, their second, as they'll stop it with a little over 30 ticks to go in the football game. Now Mahomes on the bootleg. Looking left side, and he's got a man. That's Connor. And he'll get this up to the 30-yard line. And a gain there of 11 yards. Now the NFC going to use their 3rd and final timeout as the clock will stop with an even 20 seconds left to go. So 1st and 10 now from the 30. Mahomes down to a knee, and that should just about write a finish to this one.
Well, that's the play you work on each and every week. Your offense taking a knee at the end means you've won the ball game. But how about the defensive effort? A shutout, pitching a shutout, they're going to feel great about themselves.
They're going to feel really great about themselves. A big goose egg on the scoreboard. Nice job defensively.
Yeah, I say dinner on the defensive coordinator tonight.
So, Charles, final thoughts on this AFC victory?
Bottom line, nobody appeared to be seriously hurt. That's the first thing we look for in this game. Well played, a lot of fun, a lot of excitement. I think that everyone's going to go home pretty happy, especially the AFC since they won the game.
That'll do it for us. For Charles Davis and all our hardworking crew, I'm Brandon Gaudin. You've been watching the NFL on EA Sports. For more, find us on Twitter @EA Madden NFL. So long, everybody.